Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're located on planet Earth. It is time for another PulseWave report with yours truly, the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave Price Trigger Reports. I tell you, man, you will not be able to ride these micro trends in these markets without the post wave price trigger report in your hands. You got to do it. You got to be ready, man. You got to be ready for battle. There's no greater way to be ready for battle than these pulse waves. Today is a good example of that. So, yesterday we had, for a brief period of time, the markets were trading down together. You had stock indexes down, you had bond futures down, you had gold and silver down, and bond prices down. Well, today, bond prices fell apart. The market was down over a full point and has since now recovered and is only down 12/30. But earlier this morning, the bond futures were getting absolutely smoked. Not to mention, the Bitcoin futures also fell out of bed early this morning. Bitcoin futures composite index dropped to 47,010 and has since regained and is now trading at 49,875. Yeah. The volatility is here to stay, ladies and gentlemen. Stock indexes also now are reversing course, which means, let's see, today's Wednesday. So that means tonight into tomorrow's trading, you may see rally alerts across the board. It depends on how the markets are going to close here today. The closing is going to be oh so important. You know, it really doesn't matter so much what a market does during the day. What really matters is where that market is going to close. And right now, it's looking like these the stock indexes are trying to gain some type of momentum here. Let's see what else we got to speak of. There's some things we need to talk about today. This is not our usual time slot. I was busy. I couldn't get to it this early this morning, so I figured, okay, fine, better late than never, right? But there's some things that have come across my desk. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make this stuff up. This is getting ridiculous and it has to stop. At some point, reality has to set in. At some point, people need to wake up. At some point, at some point. Maybe today is not that point. I don't know. I do not know. I cannot really say. I cannot really say. But it's getting worse every day. Now, as you know, I've bragged of having 1,000 YouTube subscriptions. I think I subscribed to about 1,000 channels. Now that is not, that's something that has pretty much happened over the course of the last decade or so. But yeah, so pretty much I run the gamut of different things just so I can get the pulse of society and what's going on. One of those subscriptions that I have is Steve Crowder, Louder with Crowder. I think the dude is hilarious. He's also very intelligent, but he is hilarious. Him and his group had me in stitches earlier. I was grabbing my stomach. I couldn't breathe. They were so hilarious. But I took note of something that has transpired, and we need to talk about it real quick. Do you know that Twitter took down the information that he posted with the video that he did showing actual concrete silver bullet smoking gun evidence of election improprieties in the past election? Yes, him and his group physically got in their vehicles and drove to a numerous amount of addresses where people supposedly voted from, and those addresses don't exist. You can't have a phony address if you're gonna vote. You guys do realize that. That kind of information is very difficult to explain or so easily debunk. He went and did it. And Twitter has now taken that post down. What are they really afraid of, ladies and gentlemen? You never have to be afraid of the truth. Why are you afraid of the truth? Oh, I get it. You don't want people to know the truth. So you want to build more walls and moats around the truth to prevent people from seeing it or hearing it. Well, that's what happened with him today. Another thing I noticed that during that video presentation he did yesterday on YouTube, something else very startling he exposed, and I haven't heard a peep about it, not from anybody. And you would think that there would be riots going on right now on the street. You would think that people will be just bugging and losing their minds, but I have heard nothing but crickets. And that is what I am speaking of, is he played the live video footage with caption where President Biden used the N-word. He specifically and plainly said the N-word. No one has said a peep about it. I don't see Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or Black Lives Matter or Antifa or any so-called individuals in the Black leadership or in the Black intelligentsia. Where are they? Where are the social justice warriors? You better believe if that was Trump that used the N-word during a press conference, oh man, the whole world would be talking about it. It would be nonstop on every mainstream news station worldwide. But because Biden used the N-word, everyone pretended like they didn't even hear it, like it doesn't exist, like it never happened, like he never said it. A president. This is the first time I can recall in my lifetime that a sitting U.S. president used the N-word on live TV and no one even bats an eye. How did he get away with that? If it was anyone else, there would be riots in the street. Cities will be burning by now. They would have to call martial law because people will be going insane. But because Biden said it, doesn't matter. Not even the vice president has said anything about it. No one is addressing it at all. How in the world did this happen? Biden used the N-word on national TV live. I have to tell you, man, this is crazy. Not only that, but if you don't think that is bad enough, you don't think that's bad enough, how about Chicago, city of Chicago, facing a 135% increase in carjackings? And what is the response to this? All the Democrat lawmakers they want to ban Grand Theft Auto video game. That's our response. That's how we're going to deal with this. We're going to ban the Grand Theft Auto video game. You can't make this stuff up. This is their response. Come on, man. Really? You would think that the legislators would be focused on better policing and other community initiatives and programs. But no. Representative Marcus Evans Jr., a Democrat in Chicago, wants to ban video games like Grand Theft Auto, which depict motor vehicle theft with a driver or a passenger present. You cannot make this stuff up. While it would not likely make a dent in the carjackings in Chicago, it would curtail free speech and individual choice. That's for darn sure. Censorship, did you think they were going to stop it just making sure the truth doesn't get out about coronavirus and the election? No, this censorship is here to stay, and it's burgeoning and not going away. Owning a car in Chicago has become increasingly difficult. All right. I'm sure those of you who live in Chicago or have relatives living in Chicago know what I'm talking about. It's simply too expensive to continually replace tires and other items regularly stolen in broad daylight. In broad daylight, not at nighttime, in broad daylight. Cars are stripped on city streets by gangs that drive around harvesting sellable items or just stealing entire cars. The solution for many is to simply not have a car. The idea of limiting what people watch or limiting what people listen to is hardly new. For years, leaders have sought to limit video games and rap music as causes of crime or the erosion of family values. The idea is that the government can regulate what you are enjoying and modify your desires and actions. It is the ultimate expression of paternalistic governance theory. It is not just limited to criminal impulses, but it extends to dietary impulses like the big gulp laws. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, there are literally big gulp laws. There are real issues of individual choice that are dismissed when they're doing this, and they don't care, and they know what they're doing. But when it comes to banning video games, however, there are also free speech issues in the curtailment of forms of artistic and social expression. Carjacking is increasing because there is insufficient deterrent. It is treated as an exciting exercise or thrill by young people. Eliminating Grand Theft Auto video games will have about as much impact on carjacking as eliminating Call of Duty will reduce world wars, or banning Minecraft will decrease structure destroying mobs. What such bills accomplish is not crime reduction, but political protection. It gives the appearance of action from legislators who do not want to take more decisive or direct action. It is easier to blame a video game than state or city enforcement policies. Oh no, it's not the state. It's not the city's policies. It's the video game. It's the rap music. Remember now, pretty much just about every genre of music at some point has gone through it. There was a period when people hated jazz. Jazz music was of the devil. Then heavy metal and extreme metal was of the devil. Then rap music and gangster rap music especially was of the devil. You're always going to have this situation. At the end of the day, though, adults should be left alone to make their own decisions. As long as what you're doing is not infringing on my personal rights and property rights, go for it. If you want, I like how Rush Limbaugh used to always say this, and I thought it was, when I first heard it, I laughed out loud. And every time I think about it, I laugh a little bit. But I like how he used to always say, we can debate and have and whatever, and then we can go out and have an adult beverage together. If an adult wants to go out and enjoy an adult beverage in the privacy of his home, why shouldn't he be able to do that? All right, what consenting adults do is their business. If I want to go out and buy Grand Theft Auto 5, which is the best Grand Theft Auto of all time, and I want to play that game, then I should have the right to play it as an adult. I should have a right to play that game in the privacy of my own home without government interference. All right? Now, even though most things are lawful, not all things are prudent. All right? But as an adult, I should be allowed to make those adult choices on my own. If I want to sit in my house and smoke weed all day and watch porn and play Grand Theft Auto 5, then so be it, leave me alone. Now, even though in some countries and some jurisdictions, all of what I just said above is legal, it's not necessarily healthy. But as an adult, that's your choice to make. If I want to eat birthday cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, 365 days of the year, as an adult, that is my choice. Now, there will be negative consequences as a result of that, but as an adult, that is my choice to make and nobody else's. I don't need the government saying, no, we have banned ice cream and birthday cake. You can't have it because some people eat it every day, 3 times a day, and it's unhealthy and they die. So we have to now nanny state you and say, no, you can't do it. We're not going to let you do it. According to our records, you've already had a piece of birthday cake today, so you don't get any more birthday cake today for the rest of the day. You have to wait 3 business days before you can have another slice of cake. Is that the world you guys really want to live in? Is that what you really want? Banning a video game? See, the government is saying that you as the American citizens, you as the people are dumb, stupid, and ignorant, and you need and require the government to think for you and tell you what to do, or you won't do anything, and you won't know what to do. If the government doesn't tell you to take a shower, you won't do it. If the government doesn't tell you that you need to eat to stay alive, you won't eat. If the government doesn't tell you you need to breathe in and out, you won't do it. That is their opinion of you. They have a very low opinion of the citizenry. They're saying that you are dumb, stupid, and ignorant, and without their guidance and them making all the decisions and choices in your life, you will die and wither away. This cannot be allowed to go forward. It cannot be allowed to go forward. And while all this is happening under their watch, the same people that you elected in the office that I told you shouldn't, I warned you and told you that you shouldn't do it. You should think long and hard about doing it. Instead of that, you have everything around you imploding. Because of these falling bond prices, I told you that those yields, they will not be able to suppress them and that they're going to explode, and that's exactly what is happening. Okay? I'm just saying. You can't have bond prices dropping several points a day forever and not expect yields to explode. All right? It's what it is. It is what it is. You got to deal with it. And as a result of American people doing nothing except for what they're told to do, welcome to United Totalitarian State of America. Because that's where you are. And people are starting to notice it. Some people are waking up faster than others. But if you take a look at author and former Clinton advisor Naomi Wolf, she warned that the U.S. is devolving into a police state under the Biden administration as endless lockdowns and restrictions show no sign of being lifted. All right? This is now, you have your own Democrats coming out and chastising other Democrats. A house divided cannot stand, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Appearing on Tucker Carlson tonight, Wolf urged that the U.S. is moving into a coup situation under Democratic rule, owning to medical mandates being extended under the guise of a real medical pandemic. Wolf emphasized that lockdowns have never been done in society, and really, we are turning into a lot of totalitarian states before everyone's eyes. Far from being a conservative commentator, Wolf pointed out that it's not a partisan thing and told Carlson that what is happening transcends everything that you and I might disagree or agree on. That should bring together left and right to protect our Constitution. Wolf continued, the state has now crushed businesses, kept us from gathering in free assembly to worship as the First Amendment provides, is invading our bodies, which is a violation of the Fourth Amendment, restricting movement, fining us in New York State. The violations go on and on. Autocratic tyrants at the state and now the national level are creating this kind of merger of corporate power and government power, which is really characteristic of totalism, fascism, totalitarianism. All right? They're using that to engage in emergency orders that simply strip us of our rights, right to property, rights to assembly, rights to worship, all the rights the U.S. Constitution guarantees. The liberal author added, I really hope we wake up quickly, Wolf proclaimed, adding history also shows that it's a small window in which people can fight back before it's too dangerous to fight back. Less than a week after the election, Wolf expressed regret for voting for Biden in the first place, saying that she would never have done so if she had known he was committed to endless lockdowns. And this is what she tweeted, quote, if I'd known Biden was open to lockdowns as he now states, which is something historically unprecedented in any pandemic in U.S. history or world history, and a terrifying practice, one that won't ever end because elites love it, I would never have voted for him, end quote. Everywhere this is coming to pass, ladies and gentlemen. People are waking up. Elsewhere during Carlson's broadcast, he declared that the lockdown regime is moving towards authoritarianism. The host told viewers Bill Gates isn't God, just a big shareholder in Microsoft. But since COVID, Bill Gates has gained extraordinary powers over what you can and cannot do with your own body. Bill Gates would like you to take the coronavirus vaccine. That's not a request. If you don't comply, you could lose your job. Carlson continued asking, what effect will this current suspension of our Bill of Rights have on American society over time? What kind of country will your grandkids live in? Is anyone even asking that question? Not anymore, because questions are disloyal. If you believe in science, simply obey. Man, oh man. And the people do nothing. Do you want to know why the people are doing nothing? Because not only are we witnessing the death of our civil liberties, the death of the U.S. Constitution, the death of the Bill of Rights, but the reason why we're seeing these deaths is because the worst death of all is the death of logic. People are no longer able to engage in the practice of critical thinking. No one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear it. When are you going to break away from the crowd thinking, break away from the Borg? When? If ever. I think one of the things that's making it difficult for people to wake up to is the vaccine disinformation war. You know, it's messed up. Okay. And they use spin, and they know how to word things in a particular fashion to make you go immediately into a trance. They'll present something to you like this. You're watching say the 5 o'clock news, whatever. And they say, good news here on the horizon, folks. It appears that Global Cap's genetic modification division has come up with a miracle vaccine for COVID. It's an absolutely safe, non-experimental messenger RNA vaccine that teaches your cells to produce a protein that triggers an immune response, just like your body's immune system's response, only better because it's made by corporations. And you'll be like, oh, I got to get that. See what I'm saying? Just in the way that that was structured, it bypasses your negative feelings, and it also bypasses the critical thinking mechanism. This is really messed up. Really, really messed up, people. Right now, we're dealing with vaccines that we don't know the long-term side effects of, and there's a lot of debate over that by health care professionals. So we got to wake up, man. Start asking questions again. I don't know if this is going to happen. I really don't. Because in the process of all this, not only will you have no rights, but you also will be starving to death. Yep, soaring food prices. I talked about it the other day. Well, they're coming. They are coming. Okay? Just look at the price of commodities. Since I have been engaged in these markets, the price of soybeans has tripled, and even quadrupled at times. But it is tripled in price. So that's a 300 to 400% rise. That is absurd, ladies and gentlemen. That is the world we are now living in. There's no such thing as normal. You're in the new normal now. But the Fed has a solution for you. Remember the phrase, let them eat cake? Well, the Fed is saying, let them eat stocks. Or at least let them buy stocks in order to eat. There will be global consequences. The Greenspan put could become the Greenspan push in places with serious food insecurity problems, like the United States of America. I told you, I've been warning for years since I've been on here. I've been telling you, I told you over a decade ago that you needed to have a brokerage account and learn how to trade and learn how to use these pulse waves, because there was going to come a time where you're going to need these markets. Really need them, because that is going to be your sole source of income outside of basic universal income. I warned you. But don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Hope for return to more normal conditions obviously covers all kinds of eventualities. Indeed, this will be called totally unforeseeable, like they did back in 2008 when they said, oh no, we couldn't know, there's no way we could have seen this economic situation happening. No way. But you had people like Peter Schiff on there warning. Even Reggie Middleton was warning. No one wanted to listen to either Peter Schiff or Reggie Middleton. They ignored them both. Ignored them. But now, everything that they have said has come to pass and is coming to pass. And everyone is just standing looking stupid and dumbfounded like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? There's nothing you can do because now it's too late. They've already installed the apparatus. All right. They've installed the intelligence, the digital intelligence complex. In June 2019, Susan Gordon stood on the stage at the Washington Convention Center, and behind her loomed three giant letters, AWS, the abbreviation for Amazon Web Services, the cloud computing division of the giant internet retailer. After 3 decades of the Central Intelligence Agency, Gordon had risen to one of the top jobs in the cloak and dagger world, Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence. From that perch, she publicly extolled the virtues of Amazon Web Services and the cloud services the tech giant provides to the CIA. She told the crowd that the intelligence community's 2013 decision to sign a multi-year $600 million contract with AWS for cloud computing will stand as one of those that caused the greatest leap forward. The investment we made so many years ago in order to be able to try and harness the power of the cloud with a partner who wanted to learn and grow with us has left us not only ready for today, but positioned for tomorrow, she said. The agreement was also a real game changer. You want to know why? Because the business model includes reselling AWS services. When the CIA said they were going to adopt the AWS cloud platform, Mr. Panera said in another AWS event, people say if the U.S. intelligence community has the confidence to feel secure on the AWS cloud, then why can't we? U.S. intelligence official Susan Gordon, extolling Amazon Web Services in 2019, has taken things to another level. Gordon left the government in August of 2019, 2 months after her AWS Summit talk. In November of 2019, she became senior advisor to a consultancy with close Amazon connections, and in April joined the board of defense contractor with extensive AWS business. Gordon is one of scores of former government officials who have landed lucrative work in big tech. The synergy between Washington and Silicon Valley can be seen as the latest manifestation of the Beltway's revolving door. But the size and scope of big tech and the increasing dependence on government, on the tech sector's products and talent suggests something more. What is that, you may say? The rise of a digital intelligence complex like the military-industrial complex that President Dwight D. Eisenhower warned against in 1961. It represents a symbiotic relationship in which the lines between one and the other are completely blurred. Gordon's history illustrates this development. Her endorsement of Amazon was important to the company. AWS touted the success of the CIA deal as a prime reason to believe the Pentagon should award the company a 10-year, $10 billion contract for cloud computing for the Joint Enterprise Defense Infrastructure, or JEDI. That's the acronym for it, for the Joint Enterprise Defense Infrastructure. You can't make this up. JEDI. That bid has been mired in litigation as competing tech companies have accused the government of insider dealing, political interference, and other improprieties in considering and awarding the contract. The web services side of Amazon is believed to be the most profitable part of the mammoth company, illustrating the pride of place AWS enjoys within Amazon. Jeff Bezos recently announced he is stepping aside from his role as CEO, making room for Andy Jassy, who has been in charge of the AWS subsidiary. It's also a prime reason Amazon chose the DC suburbs for the company's new quarter two, so its second headquarters. The DC tech sector is one of the fastest growing in the world. Teresa Carlson, AWS Vice President for Worldwide Public Sector and Industries, told Washington Life magazine last year that growth is largely driven by big U.S. government projects, she added. As Amazon has built that government business, AWS has had no bigger cheerleader than Gordon, who has made repeated presentations praising Amazon. In 2018, she appeared at a government industry confab called Fed Talks. She shared the stage with AWS Vice President for Engineering Bill Vass, who interviewed her about the work they had done together. Can you talk a little bit about the partnership that you've had with the cloud provider in this case? Vass asked and then added, "It's been very tight. Throughout my career, which is long, all the great advances we made have been in partnership with industry," Gordon replied. "We've had a partner who is as committed to our needs as we are." Vass said that the work with the government has made AWS more attractive to private sector companies buying cloud services. I found it very satisfying to also take input from the intelligence agencies and put that info into our commercial products. So our commercial products, well, you fill in the blanks. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't make this stuff up. This happened, and it is happening. See, you didn't believe me when I warned you about this back in 2016. I told you that this day was coming. I told you in both documentaries. The first one I did was called There Is No Collapse. I explained to you the government psyops. I explained to you the mechanism is exactly how they were going to do this. Then I followed it up with the second documentary, The Fed versus Bitcoin and the central banks versus the blockchain. And I laid it out. I spelled it out to you so that there would be no excuse for people saying, we've been blindsided. We didn't see this coming. We don't know what happened. Well, now you know. Now you know. I got to tell you, man, with the bond market imploding, as far as these bond prices, I don't know what to tell you. All I know is that the bond prices are still high. When I came into the business, the long bond was trading under par. Today it's at 160. That's how much stimulus has been thrown at not just the markets, but the U.S. economy as a whole. Let that sink in just for a moment. Do you remember how I explained to you the trillions of dollars of stimulus and how they affect the market aspect of the stimulus? Okay. Do you recall how I explained to you that it takes about 18 months for one Fed injection to trickle throughout the entire Wall Street market and the economy? It takes about 18 months. So every time the Fed would lower interest rates or do some type of a stimulus, whether it be in combination of lowering rates or just doing TARP or whatever, again, that's an 18-month time frame. Every time the Fed pushes the button, prints more money, whatever, it takes 18 months for it to trickle throughout the economy. And what it does is it's a trickle-down effect. It hits the markets first, Then it goes down to everybody else, okay? 18 months. And that's per Fed action. We have had an enormous amount of Fed actions since 2000. So for the past 21 years, we have had numerous Fed actions. Even if you took an ultra conservative approach and said, no, we've only averaged one Fed action per year for the last 21 years, that's still a whopping 21 Fed injections. If the injections was heroin or crack, how many injections before the patient would die from an overdose? You be the judge. So far, the U.S. economy, Uncle Sam being the patient, has received 21 injections over the past 21 years. If it takes 18 months for it to filter its way throughout the economy, and we've had 21 years of said injections, ladies and gentlemen, that's an awful long time. Talking about playing the long game, that's a long, long, long time. All right? So technically speaking, and I've covered this before, all right? I've covered it before. The Fed has single-handedly kicked the can down the road. And let me tell you how far down the road the Fed has kicked the can. They have kicked the can down the road 37 years, ladies and gentlemen. That means if the Fed were to stop today, and they made an announcement today and said, no more money printing, no more stimulus, no more Fed actions, right? If they stopped today, we would have approximately 37 years before the entire economy and the stock market collapsed, caved in. The economy, along with the stock market, would cave in approximately 37 years, because that's how much stimulus they have thrown into the markets. But I'm here to tell you something about unintended consequences. Because the patient has now, his blood has merged with the poison in his system, it has now become part of his system. It's like an alcoholic. They've been drinking for so long that now their blood is poison. So they have to keep drinking heavy amounts and they can't stop. If they stop drinking, they literally would die. That's why some people, when they go through detox, alcoholics, they die because their body just can't take it. It's been on the liquor too long. It can't take coming off of it without death being the outcome. Okay? And I know people who that's happened to. I've had loved ones and family members that's happened to. So, and friends. So, yes, it happens. So, if Uncle Sam, being the patient, he's in detox right now, but he can't get off of the liquor. He got to have some liquor. Coming off is going to kill him. He can't come off. It's too late. His blood has become poison. What are you going to do? Here's the unintended consequence that no one has really thought of. I'm here to tell you that, as you know, the longer someone is on substances, the more of it they need just to be at a normal level or close to a normal level and functional. That's where the Fed is right now. They have to keep injecting the patient with stimulus or the patient is going to die. They cannot stop ever. And now the patient needs more of it just to stay alive, just to function, just to maintain. So remember that 18-month window thing we were talking about? Unfortunately, now we had a 10-year window where for the first 10 years of this, it was, kicking the can down the road, so to speak, right? So if you do it for 10 years, and then stop, you got 10 years of before, everything goes haywire, right? And caves in. Well, because those arteries and those veins have been stretched so thin, now when the Fed injects, it doesn't take 18 months to filter through. It does so immediately. And before it can finish filtering throughout the entire economy, it dissipates before it gets to the bottom. It evaporates. What am I saying? What I am saying is that the stimulus is no longer working. I'll let that sink in for a minute. The stimulus is no longer working. If the Fed were to stop right now and said no more stimulus from this day forward, instead of 37 years, the country would collapse within 18 months. I'll let that sink in for a minute. There's been so much economic damage that when this Fed does stimulus now, it no longer takes 18 months to filter through the patient. It filters through the patient immediately. The body absorbs the injection immediately. And the high effect only lasts seconds, not minutes. Sort of like if you've ever played the game Hades, for those of you who've played it, it's now available on the Switch. Once you make it to the surface, once a character makes it to the surface, he can only stay on the surface for a matter of seconds. Now, when you first get to the surface, you can stay on the surface for about 2 minutes. But over time, it gets to the point where the game doesn't even show you going outside anymore. It gives you a narration of what happened when you went outside, and you basically immediately, die and go back to Hades. You can't even stay outside but seconds now. Well, that's what happening right now with Uncle Sam. Every time an injection goes forward, it's lasting only a few days, and then it dissipates. It doesn't have time to trickle down anymore. It no longer trickles down. It dissipates. I hope you're getting this. I hope you're listening to what I'm saying to you. This is a dangerous place where we found ourselves. And they can't stop. They can't stop. They have to keep doing this. Are you hearing what I'm saying? They can't stop. They have destroyed the economy. Totally, completely, and utterly. I don't know what else to tell you. There's nothing you can do. It's game over is what I'm trying to tell you. There is no turning the boat. It's game over. It would take a miracle on the scale of parting the Red Sea, raising Lazarus from the grave, the floating axe handle, the global flood, Jesus walking on water, all 30 plus miracles of Elisha and Elijah combined, and the witnesses, the two witnesses giving testimony in the last days. and being able to control weather and cause fire to come out of the weather and make it rain or not rain. It would take all of those miracles combined to turn the tide for the U.S. But it's already too late. America is about to hit the iceberg. And you heard it here first. I'm telling you now. You heard it here first. I warned you over a decade ago about this, and now here it is. We've now woken up to that reality. Today, this is the United States of America's reality. This is the reality show. This is the Truman Show. You've been asleep, and now you've woken up, but it's too late. I'm here to tell you it's too late. Now, Yuri Bensomov told you it was too late back in 1983, 1984. He told you it was too late then. He said America needed to stop right then and deal with things right then and there, and they did not. He said that was your last chance. That's why he came in. He said, I'm here to tell you it's your last chance. I got to tell you because, it's about to be too late. You got to start right now. It's going to take 20 years to turn the tide, but you can do it. America, you can do it. You can turn the tide. You can do it right now. That's all you got to do. Turn the tide. America, you can do it right now. America didn't do it, didn't listen. He lectured all over the country and no one cared. He was interviewed. No one listened. Now I'm telling you again that America's about to hit the iceberg and the debt iceberg is about to slam right into us. And this is what they want. This is by design. It's not an accident, and it didn't happen organically. It happened with foresight and insight and forethought. Premeditation. That's why the whole coronavirus thing came into being when it did, because it serves multiple purposes, and that's why the countries of the world came together in agreement. It wasn't because they were afraid of this mystery virus with a 98% survival rate. No, they knew what was at hand. They knew that one day that this was going to come, and they had to be ready to pull the plug when the powers that be said pull the plug. Remember, the powers that be, they own all the nukes. So you're going to do what they tell you to do, or they'll send a drone to you with a nuke payload, and that's the end of it. That's why the governments of the world all got on board, because they were told of in no uncertain terms, if you don't, goodbye your country. So here we are. A day late and a dollar short. Ladies and gentlemen, this is probably going to be your last warning. Social media has been scrubbing people left and right. YouTube has been not only demonetizing channels, but removing channels left and right. People getting all types of strikes, copyright strikes, strike. Twitter kicking people off, erasing people's tweets. Facebook keeping people off. If you don't remember nothing else, at least remember PulseWaveTrading.com. Just in case our day comes and they kick us off. That's why I have been late doing my live streams too, because I have been in the lab. I've been in the lab harder now than I ever have before. Seriously, because I know what's coming and I see it. And this is your last chance to do something for you and your family. I'm telling you. It doesn't matter if you prepped. It doesn't matter if you have $1 billion in gold and silver coins and bars and bullion. None of that matters. None of that matters. None of that matters. Because they're not going to let you trade with your gold and your silver. They're going to outlaw it and make it illegal and marginalize it to the point where even if they didn't have to make it illegal, people wouldn't want it. We're approaching the day where people are going to want Bitcoin or some other crypto currency as compared to your US dollar or your gold and silver. They're going to say you know what you can do with your gold and your silver and your US dollars. Pay me in Bitcoin or get out. But you don't get it. I have $1 billion in gold. We don't want your gold. Either you pay me the Bitcoins that I'm asking for this loaf of bread or get out of my store. That day is coming. All right. I have worked my tail off with the PulseWave reports because I know that more and more people are going to become reliant upon it, myself included. More and more people have been waking up and coming aboard and joining and realizing, and this is the thing I get all the time. Man, I wish I would have listened and did this earlier. Because once you start, you're like, wow, you catch the fever, you see what's happening. You're like, oh, I didn't realize that this is what this was. And oh my goodness, why don't more people do this? Because more people are not going to wake up. You understand this? The majority of the people are never going to wake up, even as the bombs are falling from the sky, even when the volcanoes are erupting, even when the 10-point Richter scale earthquakes are trembling, people will still not wake up. You need to deal with that. Come to terms with that. Why do you think they're now teaching a social justice warrior, Black Lives Matter, universal basic income curriculum in the public school sector and introducing it to the universities? Why do you think that is? If they're not planning on taking down the old system, if they're not thinking about erasing everything you've ever known. Why the need to push this? Why is Black Lives Matter and Antifa being given carte blanche to operate on American soil with their terrorist actions and go unchecked and unchallenged? Because they want to take it down, people. That's why you need to do what you need to do, man. You need to do what you need to do. Handle your business. You're going to need income because it's going to be haves and have-nots. The have-nots will be on universal basic income. The haves will have their own sources of income streams. So they'll be able to live a comfortable life while everyone else will be living in abject poverty. You don't think it will happen to you? Think again. I'm trying to help you. But there's coming a time where I'm not going to be able to help anybody. I won't be able to help any more people. There's coming a time where you're going to want the PulseWave reports and you won't get them. You won't be able to get them. Even if I wanted to give them to you, I wouldn't be able to give them to you because they're going to change how we even do things on the internet. You don't understand what's coming. I'm trying to warn you today. You're not going to be able to do the things that you are so used to doing. They've been getting you acclimated to it with the lockdowns and saying you can't go out in public without a mask. You can't have social gatherings. They've been giving you a lot of can'ts because they're trying to get you acclimated to the new system. Soon you won't be able to drive because all the cars will be automated. The car will drive you where they want you to go, not where you want to go. Sorry, you can't go see grandma today because grandma lives in an undesired neighborhood where carjackings and auto thefts are on the rise, and so are car accidents. So you're not allowed to be driven there. Sorry, your car is not going to let you go there. Nope, you can't override it. Nope. You get up in the morning. For those of you that are lucky enough to have a job, you get up, you turn the car on, you're ready to go to work. Except for this time, the car is not turning on. Oh my goodness, what's wrong? Do I have a problem with my alternator, or do I have a bad starter? What's going on with my car? And you'll get a computer message come up on the computer panel. Nope, everything with the car is fine. And it'll say, "Is your car not starting?" It'll be something sarcastic. It'll say, "Call 1-800 blah 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 to speak to a customer service representative." And you'll be like, "What? I can't believe this. What's going on now?" Get on the phone, you call the customer service representative. You're not talking to a human being, you're talking to the artificial intelligence. "Hello, my name is Tammy. How may I help you?" Tammy, are you a real person? You're not supposed to ask me that question because that's racist. Okay, fine. My car won't start. Yes, give me a moment to access your records. Okay, I see here that the reason why your car is not starting today is because you haven't made a car payment in 3 months. Therefore, the manufacturer, the person, the bank who you owe the money to, has turned your car off. If you would like to turn the car on, please make a payment in the amount of blah, blah, blah. That's right. It's right around the corner, folks. Oh, you don't think that that's happening? What about you people that live in smart houses? You go to the grocery store because you don't like to have the delivery service. You want to go do it yourself so you can get out, smell the air, stretch your legs. You go to the store, you come home, you put the key in the door. The door won't open. I'm sorry. Is your key not working? Can you not get in your house? Please call 1-800 blah 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 to speak to a customer service representative at the Bank of America. You call them, and the house says, "Would you like me to make that call for you?" Yes, please do. Okay. Hello, this is Tammy from Bank of America customer service. How may I help you? Tammy, didn't I just talk to you at the other place? How, how are you working at two different places? Tammy, are you a human being? Sorry, you're not allowed to ask me that question. That is racist. And under the social justice warrior law, you could be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Please do not ask me that question again. How may I help you? Yeah, I can't get in my house, and I have perishables. I have ice cream and stuff, and it's 98 degrees outside. I don't want my ice cream to melt. Can you please open the door? I'm sorry. I am unable to open the door for you right now. You have missed two of your previous mortgage payments in a row, therefore making you 60 days late on your mortgage. Please remit payment in the amount of blah, blah, blah to unlock the door. You're locking me out of my house? You can't do that. Yes, they can. And yes, they will. Please do not attempt to unlock the door again, or the police will be notified and you will be placed under arrest for trespassing. You can't do that to me. Yes, they can, and yes, they will. That's coming around the corner. You think it's a joke. It is not a joke. This is what you voted for. You voted for this techno tyranny, and that's what's coming. You don't understand. They are elated over this whole coronavirus situation. They get to push forward their new world order unchecked and unchallenged. Anyone who does attempt to check or challenge them just gets marginalized, and now you have all your social media turned off. So now no one can hear your voice, and no one will allow you to come on as a guest on their live show on the mainstream television because you don't hold to the narrative. So your voice has been silenced. You don't like it? You don't like that you just got another strike on YouTube or Facebook, what have you? Fine, call customer service. They're going to tell you the same thing. I don't believe you. I'm calling YouTube customer service right now. Okay. Hi, this is Tammy, your customer service agent. How may I help you? Tammy! This can't be happening. I just spoke to you 5 minutes ago at Bank of America, and then I spoke to you 30 minutes ago at the bank for my car loan. How are you working at all these places? You can't be a human being. Sorry, I warned you that you are not able to ask me that question. That is racist under the social justice law, section paragraph, blah, blah, blah. Police are now being activated and called, and they should be to your location shortly to place you under arrest for hate speech. Tammy! This is what you asked for, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you're going to get. This is what you're going to get. Welcome to the New World Order. All right, folks. I think I made my point. I think you get what I'm saying to you. This is what happens when you allow a sitting president to use the N-word on live TV in a live press conference, and he goes unchecked. Deal with it. All right, folks, hit that, smash that like button. You know what it is. We need to bypass the YouTube algorithm, and the only way that we will do that is if the likes are there. All right, man. Smash the like button. You know what it is. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.